So as you know that in the last class we have seen about the Java introduction, what is Java, and we have seen the difference between the Java and other programming languages, why we prefer Java, and I've showed you some basic introduction about how to run the program. And based on your question, I just found a more detail about the JRE and JVM and JDK. Did you try from your side to know about it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So actually, this JDK, JRE, and JVM are they used to execute a code? Okay, and you can see on my screen, right? I have just pasted this image to just pointed out to you the differences between all those three JDK, JRE, and JVM. JDK is actually a development kit which is having an installer, okay, to run your program. Okay. And JVM or JRE, sorry, they will provide you the environment to run your program. They will create an environment. How they will create an environment? With the help of libraries, they will help you to bind the code. Bind means when we run the normal code, okay? So each and every module, you need a binding between them. Otherwise, or you can say a communication so that when one instruction is executed, other instruction should be ready to execute. Okay, so the environment is created with the help of that GRE that will create a binding between every program, module, component, right? For example, if I say you, uh, let's give one example. Suppose you have a login page, okay? And inside that login page, what you usually find it out, you find it out like something, your name, or you can say username, okay? Next thing you find it out password. Okay. And the third thing is your text box, right? You have a text box beside the username to enter a username and to enter the password. And finally is your two buttons we have. That is login. Can you mute yourself? I think some disturbance is coming.
My side?
Yeah. So that when you have a question, you just unmute. I think there might be some network issue. No issue. So suppose you have a login button and there is one more, you can see, suppose reset button or submit button or anything. Let's take a reset password. So there are different components are there. This also you can create it with the help of Java UI part, AWT and all. So here each and every component they should communicate with each other. Like when you enter the username, some value like Anushka. Okay, and you enter some password, suppose anything like anu123 at rate. So when you enter this password or you username, when you press this login, there should be a kind of binding is there that will work behind it when we write a code inside this login button, so that as you enter the value on this username or password and you log in it, you click on this login button, it will take to the next page. So similarly, it happens in the Java code also. In Java code, whatever you write it, you write the code like this. Okay. Just like suppose you import some library. I'm just showing you one example. Then we write a class. Suppose it's Anushka, and take. I will explain you what do you mean by this all. Public static void main class and everything. system.out.print. This is used for printing whatever you want to print it. You can print it. Like suppose you want to print it. My name is Anu. Then just write it within the double quote within this instruction system.out.print. Okay. This code why I'm writing just to explain you the flow. So here binding means what? When you run on any Java environment, when you execute this first instruction, okay, when you execute this first instruction, the remaining instruction should also executed after that, right? Means once this instruction execute, then your compiler or your interpreter like point to the next line. So every instruction, every code should be compatible or bind with each other, so that when you compile the whole program with the Java C at once, there should be no uh, any miss there should be no miscommunication, or you can say there should be no you can say it like there should be a proper bonding should exist between each and every instruction. Otherwise what will happen, let me tell you. Import Java util is one library. Inside this library we have some functions through which we can use it in our class. Like suppose import Java util, and inside this you want to read an input from a user, just like in C language. How you read an input from a user? Do you remember in C language how we use?
Yeah, scanf. We
Correct.
use scan.
So here also in Java, there is we use scanner sc, okay, and new scanner system.in. This we use it in Java in order to read the value from a user. So in order to use this line, you need to have this library to be added in your code. That is why I'm saying you the term binding. And once you import this library, they will going to authenticate this, yeah, that this instruction now you are means it will going to validate it, that now you are ready to use this line on your code. If you don't use this, it will give an error that you need to import this library. That is why I said you the JDK just give you the setup file, and JRE will allow you to bind between the different instruction, so that when you compile this program at once, this program will run successfully. There should be no uh, error should exist, or there should be no warning, a kind of thing. uh, so this binding is usually take care by your JRE. And JVM will be responsible for interpreting the code. Okay. First you I have told you what is JDK, JRE, and JVM. Next thing is, as I said you, it's a development kit which is having a setup file. JRE means it bundles your code, library, component to make the Java code. JVM execute your byte code wherever you want to execute. Okay. So this you can see JDK, JRE is platform dependent. Okay. Means you download JDK and JRE based on your laptop, based on your platform. Like for Windows you will download for Windows JDK and JRE. If it is Mac, then for Mac, then Linux, then for Linux. This is platform dependent. But JVM, as I said you, JVM is platform independent. Okay, as you download this JDK and JRE, JVM also comes under this. Okay, and this JVM component will responsible to interpret out your code. So they are not based on your system. Okay, it is based on your interpreting the code. So whichever the platform you have written the code, like for example if you have written in the window itself, or if you have written in the Linux or Mac OS, that dot class file will be get executed by this JVM. JVM is what your it will going to interpret it. Java C we have seen that is used for compiler, and this JVM is used to interpret your dot class file. Okay, that is why it is platform independent. That's make your code portable. Means you can take the code built on Windows, on the Linux, and if and JVM is present, then it can run it. Okay, is it clear to you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And JDK is having a debugging, developing code, right? They have an installer. Libraries, as I said, you JRE, and it's just an interpreter. So it's inside this JDK, you will get the JRE. Okay, inside this JRE, you will get one more folder. Sorry, what I said. Means JDK is your one folder. Okay, inside this JDK, you have a JRE. Sorry, JVM you have, and inside that JVM, you have a JRE. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me draw it once. Okay, this is your JDK. Let me draw it in the graphical form so it will be more clear. This is our JDK. Okay, yeah, and inside this you have a JRE. Okay, and inside this you have a one more component, that is your JVM. Now you got it. So whenever you download a folder, there is a component called JVM is present inside this JRE, and inside this JDK you have a Java C file, right? So it works in that way. It they are all are responsible for providing you the environment. JDK will provide you to debugging, writing the code. JRE will provide you the binding between the code. JVM will provide you to interpret the code. So this is one in short description of this. So hope it is clear to you the difference between all these three. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Uh, you have any question on this? Anything that is uh, not
No,
clear or you want to know about it?
no, not anymore.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now let's come to our Java actual thing that we will going to learn how to declare a variable, and how we can create a variable. What is a variable? So you already know, as you have done, as you have learned C programming. So variable is just a container which hold a value, right? If you declare if you want to perform any operation, right? If you want to do any operation, operation this is, you can say, a task. Like suppose you want to do the addition, then suppose you have declared a is equal to 1, int b is equal to 2, and you want to do the addition, int c is equal to a plus b. Then if you want to print it, system dot out dot println, then it will give you the sum, right? So this variable is actually, what this variable are, the container. They hold a value. Okay, just like here a is holding what, 1, and it is what type of data it is holding, right? You can see integer, int. Similarly b is holding one data, 2. That is what type of data they are holding, integer again. And then the sum of a and b is held by your another variable that is called c. Okay, so variable is nothing but the container. They are used to hold a value. They just to use to hold a value. And in the Java usually we say it objects. Whatever the objects are there, I will come explain you when I will means when I will going to start the OOP concept, then it will be more clear to you. Oops means your object means it hold a value and a variable. Like suppose this one. Okay, here I have declared a variable. So what actually the object with respect to your program, suppose this is your object. Inside the object you have a variable and its value. Okay, so object hold variable and value, and this variable will define what kind of operation you are going to do in your program. So as of now, just think that object is a real-time entity which hold value and variable. Like this, you can see a is holding 1, Similarly, you can say j is one variable which is holding another value like 2 or any kind of value, not only integer, character, float, boolean, right? Any kind of value they can hold it. So variable is what? Variable is a container which is holding value. Okay, they are just store the value. As you can see, object store the state in the field, right? So object is same thing, right? Means inside the object you have a variable and its value, and there are basic data types are there, that is your character, string, integer, float, double. You might have aware about it in the C language, right? You know all the data types.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Is it feeling like a difficulty or means
No,
anything?
sir. No, sir.
And the operator in the sense we can perform several operation inside the Java, like mod operation, and you can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication. All the operator you can perform it here. Okay. Like you can see here, for example, there are different kind of variable usually there, or different kind of data type like int, okay, float, double, boolean, character, string. Like this, these are the data type. With that data type is what that tells what kind of data is held by any variable. So we write like int, float, double, boolean, character, and they have a fixed size and fixed value supported by this. And do you know what is the difference between float and double?
Yeah. I think I don't remember much, but it's a float. Double can have like 4 bytes, and float will have 8 or something. It could hold more number of digits after the
Yes,
float.
correct. Double can hold more than 6 digit after the decimal. Double can hold, for example, let me give you an example. Let's see, float a is equal to 123.345678. Okay, so this is valid in float. So, but suppose you have a more precision, you have a value like this, float a. Let's take another example. N equal to 123.45678901234. So in this case, float will not be able to hold this. Okay.
Yeah, I said
It-
it.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, correct. So it depends on the compiler, because now the latest version of Java, whether it is holding or not, once you run this, you will going to come out of this. So in order to remove this restriction, we are going to use double, and most of the time we use double because it is more precise, and it will give you you can hold a value after the 6 digit also. Means after decimal, more than 6 digit you can hold it. So here you can see it's around 12 values are there that float can't handle. So in order to get more precision where you are working on some scientific calculator or anything, you need something that is more precise, right? So we use double. And how we declare it? Double is equal to n, and same value you can define it. This one, 123.45678901234. So this will be valid. So these are the different. Now one more thing, that is Boolean. Boolean is another data type that holds only two value. What are that? True and false. Okay, this only value is hold by this Boolean data type. And rest I think you know, integer, character, string. String you know, like it's a group of character, and it is represented by double quotes. Am I right? Do you remember this in a C language?
Yes, sir. I know.
And if I say character,
That just gives only one variable. I mean,
yes,
alphabet.
it is means you declare a character variable inside a single quote, means single inverted comma, you can say, just like this. So by this representation, you can find it out easily, which is a string or which is a float, and in this way, we can understand this, that what is a boolean variable, and these are all different kind of variable, means different kind of data that you can hold it. Okay, and primitive data means the basic data type that is available in all the languages and that is not derived from other. Okay, like integer, float, double, these all are primitive data type which is not derived from other. But if I say you, there are some data type like you might have seen in the C language, array, okay, structure, union, right? Right, so
Yeah.
these all are derived, means based on this integer, float, double, you are saving in this user defined data type, you can say it, or like it is derived from this primitive data type, means it's a collection of a data type, collection of a different kind of data. In the structure and union, you can say save a different kind of data, but array is a homogeneous. So it is derived based on this one, means derived in the sense uh, you can save a multiple data here. Okay, but these are not primitive one, means based on if you add an integer here, then it will become integer array. If you add a float, then it will become a float array, right? So
Yeah.
they are not a primitive one. Primitive one means that are by default, that are available in every language and is common, like a integer, float, double, basic data type. So that is called primitive data type. Okay, now here uh, I told you about operator. We will see different kind of operator also. There are different kind of operators are available. Okay, now you can see there is some more data types are there. Byte, okay, short, int, as I said you, long, float, double, boolean, character, right? And you can see this default value also. Default value means if you do not initialize any value, then the default value held by the data type is 0. Like suppose if I write byte is equal to a, and you do not initialize a value, then the default value of that particular byte variable a will be 0.
Okay. Then for string in the character, what will it be?
Sorry,
For the string, it will come null.
yeah,
Okay.
for string
Okay.
or any object it will be a null, and boolean it will be a false, because boolean by default value is false only, because if you,
Zero is false. Yeah.
yeah, one means true. And why it's always be false, because we use somewhere that we where you want to um, prevent anything from being run. Like suppose if you write a while condition, okay, if you write like this, I made one program where I have written like this. Let me show you. I declare a variable like this and I have written while t, if while equal to t, then I will write system dot out dot print. Okay, otherwise I can do one thing, I can do value like this, t is equal to int, or this is actually I'm explaining in Python, just wanted to explain you the logic. So t is equal to, you know about Python, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now suppose when you run this program, if this based on this t value, your loop will run, right? Are you getting what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah, so it will be already zero, so they don't
suppose
run.
now, yeah. So now t is already 0. Let me assign it t is equal to 1 first. Now you see, yeah, now you tell me. So as t is equal to 1, 1 will initialize here. 1 means what? True. It means
Yeah.
that this condition will always be true. In case, okay, this condition is true, it will come, it will print anu. Then here I'm asking the user to enter a value among this two value, 1 or 0. If we suppose enter 1, this 1 will go back again to this value, it will again print anu. If we print 0, the 0 will be initialized to this t, and then it will not come inside this, and there will be
Loop,
no print.
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I understand.
So why we use this boolean also here? So suppose here boolean is false. Why it is false? If it is become true, then this condition will always loop continuously forever. Okay, you can say it like infinite loop also. If you do not initialize a value here, or you just write here true, okay, and you just comment it. So when you write like this condition will run forever because this condition
It's
is true.
always true.
Yeah, that is the reason boolean is we keep it as a false, so that if you want to run this, we can make the value true and it can run, but it not always be true, right? So in this way I have explained you about this. Let's see about more variable. So the byte is one data type which holds 8 bit of data, okay, and its value ranges from minus 128 to 127. So this byte is used to save bit kind of data, 8 bit, you know, right? Bit byte.
Yeah.
And they can be used to save integer data also, okay, but that should be limit should be there, means small kind of data they can hold it, which can comes under 8 bit. You know how to convert any number into the bit, um,
Yeah,
con-
I know.
decimal conversion, decimal to binary, binary to decimal, I
I
think.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So there also, here there is one more data type that is called short. It is another data type which is used to hold a integer value, or you can say a short kind of data, a byte data, which is 16 bit. Okay, 2 complement 16-bit value. 16-bit means 2 byte, and its value ranges from minus 32768 to 32767. If you want to save more than this 32768, then it will give a error. It won't hold value more than this 32767.
Like it will give error or it will throw some garbage value.
Sometimes it gives an error and it gives a garbage value also, but it depends on the compiler that we are working. So nowadays in the new compiler, sometimes they give an error, and the previous compiler actually they were giving error, but the new compiler JDK 1617, they assign some garbage value, or they will give you the warning.
Okay.
Um, Let me show you if let me see once again. Okay, let me open the online compiler. I can show you. Okay, open the Eclipse itself. I am opening that. Let's see what's come from it, because as Java changing their compiler and their version, so let's see once, so we can get assurance that whether it is giving an error or a garbage value on my current compiler 16. JDK 16 I have installed it. In C language, it was like this. Means in a C language, when we want to, when we don't assign any value and want to print it, it was taking some garbage values and all. But it is not here. It's giving an error only in my compiler. I'm having Java SE 14. JDK 14 I have installed in my system, and in this new one it's giving an error only because the range is value from 3 to 767 to 3 to 768. 1 minute, let me check it. 3 to 767. Okay, let me check. 3 to 768. Yeah, it's giving an error. If I put 767, it's not giving an error. So
Okay.
did you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
I will explain you this how to run the code and in this Eclipse, and how you can create a package, how you can create a project. Everything we will see it. Oh, sorry. I need
Yeah, you have put it in double.
so it is coming right. Let's take it about the default value, right? Here we have seen the default value. So let's declare string. So it is giving me the error. Unresolved compilation problem. The local variable b may not have been initialized. So here I have not initialized any value, so it is giving me an error. But as per the document we said it's initialized with null. If I use this b somewhere, it might be initialized with null. Let me check it. Let's take one more variable. So it is working, right? Let me print ln here. Let me explain you how what I did it here. 1 minute. Slash. Oh, sorry. So here it is not taking a null value when I'm not initializing any value and I'm trying to concatenate. Do you know the about concatenate operator? Means
Yeah, I do.
when you use this addition operator with the string value, it will be act as a concatenation. So here I'm doing the same, and when I'm doing the same and I'm not initializing. Sorry, you have any question?
No,
Okay. So when I'm because as I said, you depends on the compiler. So when I'm trying to not initialize any value to this and use it here, it's showing me the error because b is not initialized with any value. And when I write it like this, means when I do not initialize any value inside this and try to okay, let me print it and see what's working. So it is printing the b itself. When we do not initialize any value here inside this double quote, it is still printing b. It's just printing b. Why? It's 1 minute, let me
no,
check.
it's printing B because you have put in the quotes name, double colon B.
No,
And
because
then you are concatenating it with B, which is zero, so it's just printing.
because I have not initialized any value b here, but I'm not calculating, I'm just printing this b value. So base, okay, if I do not initialize and I print it here, it will not going to print anything.
Yeah, yeah, because it's zero, right? If you put
Yeah,
B in the same column, double
yes,
quotes,
yes,
then every print out. Yeah, just B.
yeah, 1 minute. So it's null, but as per the data type here, it's saying the default value should be print null because when we are trying to access, I think inside this object when we going to do it, then it will be print null. When we use it in the object, when we create a class and object, and there we will use it, at that time it will be print null when we do not initialize a value. Yeah. Let me check it with other also. Float default value for 1 minute. As it is written that it will be set reasonable by compiler. So I think the compiler which I am install it, this default value would be zero or null depending on the data type. I think because of that compiler it is not initializing. It depends on compiler. Local variable are slightly different. Compiler never assign default value to the uninitialized local variable. If you cannot initialize your local variable where it is declared, make sure to assign it value before you attempt to use it. Accessing an uninitialized local variable will result in compile time error. Yeah, correct. So here these all are my local variable, right? Do you know the local and global variable?
Yeah,
So here these all are local variable means this is inside this main method. I have declared it as a look means these are the local to this main method. There is no global variable I have declared anywhere. So that is the reason here they have specifically added here. Local variables slightly different. Compiler never assign a default value to the uninitialized local variable. And that is the reason they have not initialized the value to the local variable. This is what when we were use any global variable or when we want to in case of global variable, if you have a global variable and local variable, then in order to distinguish between two they might assign a value. I think I need to check it once, but here they have mentioned it clearly in this Oracle document that this compiler never assign a default value to the uninitialized local variable. If you cannot initialize local variable where it's declared, make sure to assign it before attempt to use. Yeah, that's correct. And here, as in this local variable, I have not initialized any value. That's why when I'm printing, it is showing me uh, means anything means it is not showing me anything here. And when I was using b, it was printing b, and then it was adding a value of b, so it was just showing printing b. Yeah. So as I have printed this, I will remove it. So it will not show any value because we have not initialized this. This is our local variable inside this main method. So
It will not print zero, right? It will just not show anything.
yeah, it is not initialized with zero, right? I have not
Yeah.
initialized with zero here. I have just used the double quote means inside this nothing is there.
Okay.
When I will initialize with zero, then in order to initialize zero, I need to write like this because you can't initialize zero to the string variable. It will give an error.
Yeah, that's.
You can
But
init
I thought it will print null or something.
Yeah, but we do not have initialized value, so it is not printing null.
Okay.
Let's check it now. So when you initialize null, then only it will print null. If you do not initialize anything, because there is a difference between null and there is we means just writing a double quote. Inside this double quote, there is nothing is present. Null means a null value. That is there is something that null is present. So this is here is actually if you increase this, it will be considered as a space. So it means that there is nothing present inside this. There is a no space. Let me show you. Let's take an example with you can see when I give a space, it is printing that a null, right? So double quote is used to just add a space between the character, or you can say between the words. And here, if you want to print the null value, then you just need to assign a null because these are local variable.
Okay.
Okay. So this is actually completely depends on your compiler also, and in which scenario you are writing, whether it is a global variable or whether it is local variable. That's the reason that we need to check it once. Means we can't say it immediately because as you can see here, it is written, they have mentioned it that for local variable it won't assign a value. If you are using a global variable, or if you are using a two variable with the same name, one at a global and one at a local variable, then it might be initialized with some default value. And in C language, it happens. In C language, if you do not initialize a value and you want to print it, it will assign a garbage value. You can try it in a C language. Otherwise, I can show you in the next class. In a C language, like if you do not initialize value, it will be initialized with the default value.
Yeah, okay.
So, what do you mean by this literal? We have seen different kind of data type, and I will going to share you this link. Just have a look on this data type ranges, from which ranges it's coming. Integer will have a long range minus 2 to the power 31 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1. And from Java SE8 means Java version 8 onward, integer data type is used to represent 32-bit value, and which is having a maximum value, minimum value from 0 to maximum 2 to the power 32 minus 1.
Mm.
So 2 to the power 32 is a very large value that can be held by this int. Suppose if you have a very large value, then you can use long. Long can hold a 64-bit of a value. And similarly, we have a float, double, boolean, character, right?
Yeah.
And what do you mean by this literal? Literal is used to create a variable. They are like a group of symbol or character, number. So in order to create a variable in Java, you just need to have a literal. So literal means literal can be your alphabet, okay? It can be your number, it can be the symbol, right? Suppose if you want to declare a variable, so how you declare it? Integer a1 equal a1 equal to 2, integer a2 equal to 3, right? So it's a group of alphabets also you can use it, number can also use it. But if you write like this, integer 1a equal to 2, will it work or not according to
No,
you?
I think it won't because we should start with the alphabet.
Correct. Let's see it. See, it's giving me syntax error on the token 1, means it should be not start with 1a. Okay, let's take it a1 and initialize the value. So is it giving error? No, right? So it means that the variable can be created with the combination of number and alphabet. Let's take a symbol, whether it is working or not. So it is giving error, right? You can't give a symbol here in this,
Yeah.
right? And let's see whether it is working in this way. So it will give an error. Symbol, you can't use it. You can use it symbol in a value. Let's see whether we can use it. Obviously within a double quote, if you can use anything. Okay, let's see whether underscore is valid or not. So see, it's valid, right? Let me print run this. Okay, sorry. So it is working. So which symbol you can use it in creation of the variable underscore.
What if
Let,
I want to print something in double quote inside double quote? Like, hi, my name is Anushka in double quote.
yeah,
My name and then double quote and then Anushka.
okay.
That will give error, right? I know this. But what if I want to do something like this?
Uh, this thing we can do it. We just need to add a slash operator because it is not considering this double quote inside a double quote. So you just need to add a slash, I think. I need to check it once. Okay, let me check it. Let me run this.
I think only single quote. One quote.
Hmm. Just 1 minute. Um, yeah. So see, it's coming.
Yeah.
So when you want to print a double quotes, or when you want to add this within a double quote, you can do it with this slash operator. This slash operator will make this uh, identify, because your compiler will think it as an error when you write the this within a double quote inside the double quote. Compiler will think that you might have written um, by mistake this. So when you use this backward slash, then it will help the compiler know you want that uh, name to be printed in that format. So that is the reason we add this slash, so that it can be possible to print it. Now let's see some more. So literal means what? You can use alphabet, number, symbol, but symbol also like underscore and all. You can't use hyphen in the variable, and you can't use add rate, hash, right?
Yeah.
So integer literal means the number, right? You can declare a number, and the value that you assign to that is also comes under literal, right? Means the value that we use it, the number 26 in a decimal, right? It's also a literal. because it's formed by using number. So literal can be your character string, and you can use an escape character also. As I said, use slash b slash t slash n slash double quote, right? This one that you ask me, single quote for this. So this symbol you can use it in your value, okay? And
Okay.
there's also the null literal is also there, that can be used as a value for reference null, that can be used to initialize a null here. Let me remove it once, 1 minute. So it is used to initialize a null value. When you initialize this null, it will going to print null here. So null also you can initialize it here. Oh, sorry, I have not.
Not printed yet.
Yeah.
What will they value?
Okay, sorry. I think double. Yeah, yeah. It's now printing right. So when I run this, it's showing me the data types. This class they are running it, and they are showing me these are the different way of declaring a variable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sending you this link on the chat. Have a look after this class on this.
What do you mean by form feed
Sorry,
slash f?
1 minute. Yes. What you said?
Slash f?
This one.
Yeah.
These are the different escape characters are there. Exactly right now I don't remember the form fit, but I know like they are used for like backspace, space, if you want to enter a new line, and slash f is a form fit. One more a kind of escape character is there. It's not used much in the programming, but okay, let me show you what is this. It is printing something question mark something form fit. Exactly I don't remember now because we don't use this escape character. We
Yeah, that's what I've never used it, so I don't know.
Yeah, because we just use slash n slash t. There is one more carriage return is there. Carriage return means we'll bring the cursor to the first page, first character. So let me show you that. So here when you edit slash r, let me show you. So see here it is giving carriage return. What they do, they will bring the that your cursor like here like we see carriage, right? It bring the carriage to the start of the character, and that's why the here it is coming and you can't see it. Let me remove this slash. Let's run one again. So when you run this carriage operator will bring the cursor or your carriage here. That's why you are getting a space here. There is some more escape characters are there. This double quote, single quote, backslash, If you want to use a backslash, how you can use it? So see, okay, I think it's, let's do, sorry, I think I have written correct or not. Yeah, okay, 1 minute. So suppose you want to print forward slash also in your program, then in that case you need to use a double forward slash, because when you use a single forward slash, your compiler won't has understood this. Compiler will think that you want to type slash n slash t, any escape sequence here, so you can't get it right. So that's why you need to add one more backslash here, so that you can understand this. That's why when if you want to print like this, you need to add two backslash. Let's see, slash b and run it. Okay, oh, it's not I think it's not able to identify it. Okay, let me check it, this one. I will go to check it. Are you able to listen?
Yeah.
Carriage return form with double quote, single quote backs. There is one more backspace is there. With the help of this one, when we write this, it will remove the, it will start removing the character. But I need to check it once why it's not working. Might be we need to import a file here. Okay, I will check it, this carriage return I will check into once on this. We usually don't use this because the normal industry standard they don't say is to use this one, because for new line also we use println, and we don't use in only in the exception case where you want to print the double quote inside double quote, then we use slash. Otherwise this carriage return form feed, we don't use it at all. It is in C language also available. Slash A is also one alert kind of thing is there, but it is not supporting here. If you see in C language, there is slash A is also there. That is for alert. It will make a sound when you run it. But in the Java, it's not there, I think. But I will check it once again. On this part, I will check it, and I will update you in the next class. So we have seen the different kind of variable, how you can declare it. And one more thing, whenever you declare a float variable, just add f to it, so that it will help the compiler to identify that it's a float value, and you do not have a more than 6 digit or after the decimal. Yeah.
Okay, but what is this underscore after 14?
What is, sorry, I haven't heard. Please repeat.
After 3.14 is, I think there's an underscore. Why there is an underscore?
Yeah, let's see this. Okay.
You have to print it, right? Won't it give
Actually,
error because the pi is
no.
after?
See, 3.14, why it is? Because it will be when you divide 22 by 7, okay, you will get 3.1414. It is in a non-terminating. Okay, it will not, it will be same digit you will get it. So you will take either 14 or 15. In that way, it is same. Are you getting, like, suppose when you divide 22 by 7, you will get the same digit. Okay, let me show you. So see 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8, 6, 1, 4, 2 kind of thing, you will get it in the same sequence. So in order to do that, they have used either 14 or 15, means you can use either 3.14. Instead of taking this long digit, you can take it 15 also. So that's why they have added underscore 15. Means so let me,
Yeah, I'm asking like how will it understand which one it is supposed to take, 14 or 15?
sorry, I did not understand what you said. Can you repeat?
You said now accordingly we can use either 1 4 or 1 5.
Either 1, 4 or 1, 5. No, so it means that I did not said in that way. Means I said like it depend on you based on your requirement. Either you can use 1, 5 or 1, 4. Okay.
Okay.
Means the reason why, because 1, 4 will be the long, it will be a long non-terminating value you will be get. When you divide 22 by 7 or 3.14, it will give a long value. So in order to reduce it, in order to get a exact value, like suppose what is it is load pi is equal to 3.14, and we have seen it was giving 14256, then again 142, something like this, right? So in order to remove this such a big decimal value, you can use it like this. So it means that, so it means what, that instead of taking the long value, you have reduced it into a one word, that is 15. So it will be immediately after the 14, it will take 15. So you can either directly use 15 also, 3.15. So it completely depends on you. If you want more precision, you can use the long digit, as I said you like this. If you want to, because the reason why we use this, so that you can get the answer in a precise way, you don't get a in a more decimal value. That is the reason that when the developer they work, they don't take a value, long decimal value, because when you multiply it, it will give value in also a long value. So we usually use 3.14, and if you want more precision, then you can add 3.15. That's the reason.
Yeah, but it has printed 3.1415 both of the value, right? So
Yeah, that's only I said you right. I have explained you that's only that here, instead of taking such a long value, okay, you can take it like this. Means in order to remove this value,
yeah, so instead of using the underscore, we can just keep 1415, right?
yeah,
So
you
that,
can keep it.
is it like they use it so that in the later on we can just type it off 3.15 instead of 1 4 or something?
No, it's not. There are the different way of representation in Java. Means they
Okay.
have just given you the example how you can use it. So there can be a different way of assigning a value, different way of assigning a variable. So they have just said you like these are the one more way where you can use a underscore in the numeric literals. And as I already said you that underscore is valid to use in variable as well as variable name. So this underscore is just to uh, terminate a value or just bind a value on one sequence. Like instead of taking such a big value after this, you can take it 1525 like that. And
Okay.
when you use this underscore while printing, it will remove this. They will take it like this. So you can just think it this 15 is for the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So just have a look on this. So in the next class when we connect back, we will see on this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So in the next class when we connect, we will do some program, and uh, we will run the code on that. So I will explain you the JDK, and we will download the JDK in the next class. So tomorrow I think we have a class from 4 to 6, right? So 4 to 6 you get time, so we will download it JDK, and we will run the code. So
Can
till
we download it now because we have time anyways till 12?
now, right now I have some work, so that's why I said it.
Okay. Okay, then we can tomorrow.
Okay. So we connect back in the next class, and we will run it.
Okay.
Okay, bye. If
Okay, bye.
if you have any question, just ping on the Trello. I will answer in there.
Okay, fine.
And this link I share you in the chat. Just check it once.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you.